Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here. Today we will be commencing the April 9th Planning Commission meeting. Can we begin with the roll call, please?
Yes, thank you, Chair. Commissioner Sanchez. Here. Commissioner Quill.
Here.
Chair Jones.
Present.
Commissioner Wilbert.
Here.
Commissioner Guerrero. Thank you. Commissioners Lopez and Ruiz are excused. We have quorum.
Thank you. Moving forward, public comments for any items not listed on the agenda. Is there anyone in the public tonight wishing to speak on any items listed not in the agenda packet for tonight? All right, I see no hands, so we will be moving forward to the consent calendar. The Planning Commission will first hear a report from staff, and then public hearing will be opened. The first applicant will be allowed the opportunity to speak. Next, members of the public will be allowed to speak. Anyone in the audience wishing to speak must be sworn in, fill out a request to speak form. The forms are located on the table right there near the door. When your name is called, come forward and speak into the microphone. Spell your name and give your address for the taped record. After all have spoken, the applicant will be allowed to respond. The public hearing will then be closed, and the Planning Commission will then begin deliberations and make a decision. All actions except general plan amendments and amendments to the Municipal Development Code are final unless an appeal is filed and a fee is paid within 15 days to the Community Development Department. If you challenge the result of the Planning Commission in court, you may be limited to only raising the issues that you or someone else raised in the public hearing described in the agenda or in written correspondence delivered to the Community Development Department at or prior to the public hearing. At this point, let's go ahead and open the consent calendar.
Good evening, Chairman and Commissioners. Item number 1, which is the approval of the minutes. They are for the meeting, regular meeting of February the 12th, and they are complete as submitted. Those are the only items on the consent calendar. Thank you.
Thank you. Does the Commission have any questions for staff in regards to the consent calendar? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion. We approve the consent calendar.
We have a motion.
I have a second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carries unanimously. Moving on, agenda item number 2. At this time, we'll open public hearings for agenda item number 2, conditional use permit 18-07 and public convenience or necessity letter 19-01.
If we may, those that wish to speak on this evening, if you wouldn't mind to rise to so we can do the oath, please. And that would be for any items on the agenda, not just agenda item number 1 or 2. You just wish to speak this evening, please.
Can I have all the applicants stand as well? Raise your right hand, please. Ready? Okay. Do you solemnly affirm that the testimony you're about to give before this body will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? If so, please say I do. I do. Thank you. You may be seated.
Good evening. Item number 2 is conditional use permit 18-07 and public convenience or necessity letter 19-01. The proposed project is to convert an existing billiards hall that's approximately 6,000 square feet with a current ABC license type 40 for on-sale beer to a nightclub, and to upgrade their current ABC license to a type 48 for on-sale general public premises. The project site is located at 357 West Highland Avenue within the Commercial General 1 zone. Here's a locational map, a zoning map of the project site. The current site is located again within the commercial general zone, and it's surrounded by some commercial office as well as some residential zone properties a little bit to the west, and my apologies, it's a little bit off the map. Here's an aerial view of the project site. As you can see, there are some commercial retail establishments already surrounding the area, as well as some residential properties a little bit to the south of that. This is looking to the property southeast onto the site. Here's a street view looking east on West Highland Avenue. Here we have a site on street looking west onto West Highland Avenue onto the site. And here we have an aerial view of the existing project site. The owner, currently this is the interior of the project site. The owner proposes to remove some of the pool tables in order to make room for a dance floor and live bands. And here's another additional picture for how the existing site looks. This business is within Census Tract 54. Currently, there are 7 off-sale licenses within this census tract, and there are currently 6 licenses for on-sale within this census tract. So this is just to show you the boundaries of that census tract. Here we have the 1,000 feet radius. So it shows you all the similar licenses within 1,000 feet of the proposed project. Currently, there are 3 off-sale licenses and 1 on-sale license. Additionally, we are providing a 500 as well as 1,000-foot radius distance between certain sensitive uses within the census, within this proposed project site. Within 1,000 feet, you have a school. It's an Arrowhead Middle School. And then within 1,173 feet, you have a church, which is Our Lady of Rosary Cathedral Church. We also do have the nearest park, which is approximately 5,574 square feet. That's a little bit off-site, so unfortunately, I was not able to capture it on the map. And as well, a little bit south, within 500 feet, you have some residential properties. The police department did a report. We forwarded the item to the police department for their review. Currently, there are 13 ABC licenses, which exceeds the 10 licenses allowed by ABC within this census tract. The police department, after their report, they indicated that there are 293 crimes within this census tract, within this reporting district, which exceeds their citywide average of 91 crimes, and that's approximately 220% more than the 21% that is recommended for them to do a denial on the project. Additionally, the project doesn't meet the city's goals and objectives of reducing crime and ensuring safe neighborhoods. Therefore, the police department recommended denial of the proposed project. Based on the recommendation of the police department and our concurrence, staff is recommending that the Planning Commission adopt resolution number 2019-019, denying conditional use permit 18-07, and public convenience or necessity letter 19-01 based on findings of fact. If you have any questions, I'm here, or if you have any questions for the applicant, they are here as well.
Thank you. Are there any members of the public wishing to comment on this item? Let's go ahead and open up public comments for agenda item number 2 right now. I have a speaker slip from Mr. David McCamick.
ACK. My business is right across the street, 372 East Highland Avenue. As you heard by the police report, we have nothing but homelessness. The used to be Richard's Tobacco Store has the electricity and the air conditioner removed 4 different times. Now they have a guard there 24 hours a day. It's just tough to do business, and they also have a plasma center right next to the proposed bar. So in other words, they would go in the plasma center, get money for plasma, for their blood, and then more than likely go right across the street and have a drink. But who knows? But anyway, it's not conducive for this type of business. We have enough problems as it is without having another bar. I know Elgin and Fagan was open, and we had daily. I was picking up trash and still am because of the homeless. But I mean, people that live there were constantly complaining that of the noise and the rowdiness that was going on, and it's all it would do would be to compound a problem that we already have. It's a shame what's happened to San Bernardino, but in that particular block, there's only 3 businesses that are open on my side of the street. And one of them is a used computer store, one of them is my tax business, and the other is my printing business. Other than that, the whole block is empty. Up Arrowhead, there's only 2 businesses that are open. The rest of them, there's nothing but vacants, homelessness, drugs. I mean, it's a shame. It's a shame what's happened to San Bernardino. When I moved here, this town was a great town. It's terrible. That's all I got to say. Don't bring it in.
Thank you, Mr. McCamick. Are there any other members of the public wishing to comment on agenda item number 2? Does the applicant have a presentation, or is he available for questions in the event that the commission or staff has further clarification that we need?
The applicant is here.
Okay. I had a question for starters, and I guess we can go along right after. I was curious, the police department, they denied this application, and there have been projects that have come through here before on numerous occasions where the commission strongly does not like the liquor license being issued, and the police department has approved them before. I'm just wondering, like, what was the main basis or justification for the police department to issue such a strong denial, because this is one of very few that I've seen come before the commission before.
Yes, Chairman and Commissioners. So the as you may be aware, the city in general, through directives of the City Council and kind of we have some goals and objectives that we want to maintain. Some of those were identified in the staff report in terms of wanting to ensure safe and areas and communities kind of thing. So we've looked to those a little bit more closely. The police department, in terms of their recommendations, they're kind of a little looking at it more closely, and frankly, they're They'll make recommendations from a professional standpoint, the response times and those kinds of things, and what the crime rate is in the area. In most cases, they have not been inclined to make recommendations one way or the other. This particular case, if you looked at the police memo that was prepared, it is a pretty high crime area, and the types of crime that are occurring there. So that's why that's really kind of the basis, and we supported where the recommendation was coming from, coupled with some of the other areas where you're looking at some of the other sensitive uses that may be in the area, the high concentration of ABC licenses. You know, there's 13 in an area that allows, you know, a maximum of 10, and so we're kind of looking at them a little closer, and, you know, maybe you'll see that in some of the other items on the agenda as well. But really, that's kind of the thrust of it. You know, we have these the quality of life team that's been formed by the city, where there's representatives of the different departments in town, whether it's Public Works, Police Department, Parks and Rec. You know, where we're all looking at the community and the city as a whole, and what are the different factors that affect quality of life in the city. So, you know, alcohol-related uses, you know, would be one, and you're right. We've had a number of ABC license requests come before you, and for the most part, we have recommended approval. It's kind of unique that we have a few on tonight's agenda, but in any event, that's kind of what we're looking at, you know, and we're looking at the police department from a guidance standpoint, you know, directing us as staff of what the conditions are. If you recall, in prior years, or at least within the last year or so, you know, we changed a little bit of the procedures internally, where before the police department would review the applications, and there was that whole notion of the operator's permit and such, and a lot of times that was being done before it came to the Planning Commission. And so in many cases, a business owner would receive an approval for a business permit from the police department, and then we'd come to the Planning Commission, and then if it didn't go their way, kind of thing, it's just like, well, why am I going through this process if the police department already said it was okay? We just wanted to avoid putting, you know, different departments or groups at odds with each other, and so the directives were that let's let the discretionary bodies, as the Planning Commission and or the City Council, whatever the case may be, actually make the decision on these sensitive land use matters, and then we would proceed with the actual permitting, you know, the business license and the screening and those kinds of things. So that's, be glad to add anything else, or if you have any other questions as it relates to that.
That pretty much covers it. Does the commission have any questions for staff or the applicant at this point?
Through the chair, I have a question. It appears that they have an existing beer license now, correct?
That is correct.
And is there any, or did the police comment if there's been any activities or calls to the location?
There has been. I don't have those memorized, Elizabeth, to recall. I mean, the report does list the activity around there, the incidents, the types of reports that were filed.
I don't remember the exact numbers.
Okay.
I have that information within the report, so let me pull that information for you.
That's okay, that's fine.
But no, they have gotten a couple of calls.
That's what I thought.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
If I may add to that, as outlined in our report, so the police department, they calculate the number of crimes citywide, and they divide that by the number of districts the reporting districts that are in the city. There happens to be 251 reporting districts, so they divide the city up. Based on the total number citywide, they determined that 91 is the average per reporting district. And so when you look at our development code, which we cited in the staff report, where it talks about if that the threshold should be less than 20%
Right.
of what the average reporting rate. This one, I don't recall what the number was, but it was we're looking at.
The number was, if I may.
So we had 293 crimes in that reporting district, which is approximately 220% above the reportable area of the 91, and so that was one of the factors that we looked at as well, and so it lends
Thank
say
you.
why it was done
Thank you.
that way. Thank you.
Are there any further questions from the commission?
I wanted to thank staff and everything for giving us such a thorough overview of this project. But I do agree that with the police and everything, with your guys' recommendation, that because of the oversaturation, this isn't exactly going with the direction of the city and our new ideas, or the ideas that we want to instill back into the city. I do have a question for the applicants. They said that they wanted to, oh, if you guys want to set it up. Yeah.
Yeah, can we have the applicant approach and give your name and address for the taped record? Have you been sworn in, sir?
My name is Gonzalo Estrada.
Somebody turn the microphone on for him as well.
All right. My name is Gonzalo Estrada. I come with Maria Espinosa. She is applying for the license, and we want to express disagreement about the police department because they cannot blame to the bar, to a small bar, for problems of the city. Everybody knows what's the problem in the city. Thousands of homeless in the streets. That's out of our control. We cannot do anything about it. They should know just in the avenue, in Highland Avenue, there is 6, 7, 11 business with a full liquor license. Almost 8 gas stations with full liquor license. Markets, supermarkets, a lot of kind of business. They sell the alcohol without control, just showing a ID. And you cannot compare the amount of liquor they sell to take home, and the minors drink in their home, and they commit crimes. In the bar, we have control about that. We cannot sell more than 3 drinks to the people. We cannot sell to the minors. That's completely different. We have more control than 7-Eleven, than markets, and everyone. We control a lot the sales of alcohol. And for that reason, we are not responsible for the problems of the city. I would like to ask you, with all respect, please consider the situation. Because if you try to deny liquor license, you should start to control to 7-Eleven or other big corporations. We are a small business with only proposal to progress. That's all. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you, sir. Does the commission have any further questions for the applicant at this time? Commissioner?
Yes, actually. I saw that you guys wanted to go from just being a Billard place to having entertainment. Were you guys able to attain that entertainment permit? Because in our paperwork, it seemed like something was a little off there. I know that you guys wanted to change kind of that.
Yeah, exactly. We are going to change. We have this business is running almost 24 years with a beer license. In the past was a billiard salon. That was successful business because in that time the pool was very good entertainment. But after a year, the things changed, and we just want to improve our business in order to produce more money, give more work for the people, and improve our quality of life. We are not trying to do anything illegal. We respect of the law. We have strictly rules in the bar. We cannot do mistakes there. because one mistake, the police can close the business. That's why we have to be very careful, more careful than the liquors and everywhere. Please consider that situation.
If I may, they do have an existing billiard hall, and they have the Type 40 license. So, should the commission be inclined to accept staff's recommendation, they would still be able to continue with that operation. So they wouldn't have to close down at that point. If the issue is the type of ABC license they have, an alternative, if I may suggest, would be to allow for the live entertainment, but maintain the Type 40 license, which they already have, and which they can continue using that, tomorrow still. And so really the only difference would be the live entertainment. So just as a suggestion.
Would the commission be open to that?
I would be open to having that live entertainment. I just wasn't sure if the entertainment permit was received, or if they got that, because it seemed kind of vague in the paperwork whether they had
That is
received
subject to the Planning Commission's approval.
Okay, perfect.
So the alcohol license and the entertainment permit are bundled into one?
That's
Per
correct.
se. Okay. So they pretty much, we could approve the entertainment without the ABC license?
Without the Type 47, they still have the Type 40 license for the beer.
Okay. Would the applicant be open to that? Would you be open to that?
Well, if we don't have a choice.
Is the staff in agreement with that? Is that feasible?
Like I said, that's, they're already selling alcohol there. They're already selling the beer. So the question is as to whether or not the entertainment makes a difference. So I believe from a business standpoint, a business model, if you will, maybe there's more of a customer base for the live entertainment that would come to the facility. In any event, if the Planning Commission were inclined to consider that, the recommendation would be that you continue this public hearing and if the direction were for us to return with the report with such a recommendation or ideas, suggestions, we can do that and come back with the appropriate resolutions to match whatever the wish of the commission may be. So if you're inclined to support a live entertainment and beer only, we could return with that report and that revised resolution.
Okay. So how does the commission feel about that as far as approving the entertainment portion only and allowing them to continue with the existing license that permits them to sell beer only? Is that correct, Oliver?
That is correct.
Okay. Commissioner Woodward?
Yeah, so if we do approve the entertainment, how does I don't know the answer, how does the police department look at that, too? I mean, we need a response from them on that as well, because entertainment can be, what is the hours of entertainment?
Well, when they reviewed the application, they were looking at both entertainment and alcohol. Their issue was as it related to the crimes in the area, and they didn't segregate whether it was what the cause of the crimes were.
Yeah, okay, I just think that maybe they need to respond on this, too. In that respect. I don't know how we're going to word this. We're going to send it back for revisions?
Does the police department normally assess entertainment permits?
No, they don't.
Okay. So if he already has the beer-only license, we would just need to continue this item to the next agenda item in order to review the entertainment portion? Or as far as what would be the plan of action moving forward if we were to make that modification?
So it would be a conditional use. It would be the same CUP number, public necessity, and it would be for live entertainment and beer, Type 40. So we would want to make it clear that that's what the approval is for. So this way, when someone looks at the file, later on, they know what the action or what was approved there.
Yeah, with that, so we can, make it quicker, is it hours of entertainment? Then we go into, like we have if it's till midnight, what kind of lighting? I mean, we need a lot of things to look at in this respect. And so you can keep that in mind on the resubmittal. That's the way I look at it.
So if you recall in some of our past staff reports and resolutions as it related to alcohol use, you may recall a list of conditions, and it talks about security plans, lighting, occupancy. It talks about your surveillance, security guards, those kind of things. So that would be something that's spelled out in a development code for that type of use. And so we would, if we were to come back with that staff report, we would delineate what all those conditions are in the staff report, so you're clear of what they're operating under, and then those would also be included as part of the resolution under the conditions of approval. And then we also include that other 6-month review for a 2-year period that we could monitor them once they've opened, and if there's any problems, we could either try to work it out with the applicant, or we could return them back to the Planning Commission for further direction once they've opened and operated.
Through the chair. I would probably suggest that we look at the police recommendation and the property owner's recommendation for that area up there. I know the situation of the area, and I know the condition of the area, and I think by allowing the entertainment, I think that's just going to cause more activity in that area. And so I think I would probably be in favor of following the recommendation from the police department.
Okay. Definitely. All right. I'd like to make a motion to adopt resolution number 20. Oh, let me pause. I'm going to close public comments. I'd like to make a motion to adopt resolution number 2019-019, denying conditional use permit 18-07 and public convenience or necessity letter 19-01 based on the findings of fact. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Moving on, agenda item number 3, conditional use permit 18-03 and public convenience or necessity letter 18-07. A request to allow the upgrade of an existing alcoholic beverage type 20 off-sale beer and wine license to a new alcoholic beverage type 21. Can we please have the staff report? Thank you. Oh, no problem. Oh, it's quite a few. Dang. Yikes. 1, 2.
Yes, Commissioners. Item number 3 is for conditional use permit 18-23 and public convenience or necessity letter number 1807. It's for the property located at 1338 West 5th Street, and it's for the existing Buena Market. And their request is to upgrade their existing Type 20 license, which is for off-sale beer and wine, to a Type 21, which is off-sale general. The slide before you is the existing zoning for the subject property. Again, it's within the Paseo Las Placitas specific plan area. That's the shade in the green. And then across the street is commercial, and then there's also some residential that's nearby. This is the aerial of the site that shows it's with an existing commercial center. It's in proximity to the Mount Vernon and 5th Street intersection. And this is a view of the store from the street, from 5th Street, looking towards the store. So the store would be in the center of the shopping center there. This is looking west down 5th Street, and this is looking towards the east on 5th Street. And this is an aerial view of the shopping center. These are some interior shots of the store. It's a typical corner market or convenience store kind of setup. All your little snacks and goodies. And this is their refrigeration system, which is at the back of the store. So within this area, we have outlined, and in our report, we detailed that there are existing of a total of 9 ABC licenses within that census district, and the concentration level is 6. So they're allowed 6, so they're 3 over of what's permitted by the ABC board. These are the licenses that are within 1,000 feet, similar licenses of the store. This area, in my report, we talked about sensitive uses as a previous report, and this is, it's within 300 feet of Our Lady of Guadalupe Church. And again, our code lists that has to be at least a 500-foot separation of sensitive uses. Churches would be one of those. In our analysis and basis of our recommendations, we're based on the, again, there's the 9 licenses exceeds the total 6 allowed for the census tract. The crime rate within the area is, there were 93 crimes, which is a 53% above what is allowed. Doesn't meet the threshold sensitive, the distance separation, that be for the church, and again, does not meet the city's goals for reducing crime and ensuring safe neighborhoods. And although the police department did not give a recommendation of support or not of this project, they did provide us with the statistical information that was useful in our analysis to come up with this crime statistic information. With that, our recommendation that the Planning Commission adopt Resolution 2019-020, denying conditional use permit 1823 and public convenience or necessity letter 18-07, based on the findings in the resolution. That concludes my report. I would be glad to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we'll open public comments. First speaker will be Enrique Zanunga. Say that again? We have 2 Enrique. Yeah, I have we're on agenda item number 3, correct? Yes. Okay. I have a guest speaker slip for Enrique Zanunga, 650 West 6th Street. Yes, sir. Please come to the microphone and state your name and address for the taped record. Thank you for coming this evening.
Hello, and my name is Enrique Zuniga. I frequent the area where they have their business. I do all my shopping there, my laundry, my gasoline for my car, and that area I frequent it very often. I think that it would be safe for them to have a permit, if it is all right with you, gentlemen and ladies. I have never, of the 5 years that I have lived in the area, I have never seen any altercation or whatever you call it. People, of course, you have homeless all over the city, but that's a place that's safe, and I recommend that you permit him to have the authorization to sell the liquid. That's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Zanunga.
You're welcome, sir.
Our next speaker is Enrique Garcia. Good evening, Mr. Garcia. Please state your name and address for the taped record.
Enrique Garcia, ENRIQUE Garcia. I live in 1347 West 6th Street. The reason I'm here is that I've known the owners of Buena Market. I've lived in San Bernardino for 45 years. I've seen the city, what it's turned into. You can't blame all the problems that the city's having because of alcohol, because there's the homeless, the drugs. And I think that Rick and their family, their businesses should get their license. Back in the days, right across the street, there was a place called Bob's Market. They had a liquor license. I see why not they can't have it. I go to the church you guys are talking about, Our Lady of Guadalupe. I'm a volunteer at the marriage table. And we also help the homeless. And we have 2 security guards there at their business on the weekends. Of course, there's drugs, there's gangs, but it's everywhere in our city. You can't blame a business for those things. All I hear, I go to city meetings, and I talk to a lot of business owners. All I hear them cry about how the homeless mess up their business. But I don't hear them saying anything about a solution to solve it. And I'm involved in a lot of different things in the city. I do car shows. I work at Marriage Table. I'm a volunteer. I'm vice president to a project called Esperanza. That it means hope, to help out the city. We've been helping out the homeless, the Vietnam vets. We've done different projects in the city. Rick, he's helped the city in different ways. Marriage Table is a shelter for the homeless where they feed, they get food bags. There was a time when the freezer broke, and we had like 50, crates full of meat. It was going to spoil. It's for our homeless people, We had a problem. What do we do with it? The health department's going to come. They're going to throw it away. So they called me. I work at a restaurant. I have a big freezer. I was thinking about putting it there, but we did not. I called my friend Rick, and he volunteered and helped us save that food where we can feed the homeless. So he also helps the community. Not only that, we've done other things like Cinco de Mayo things at the Placita Park. A lot of the business owners on Mount Vernon have helped us and the lowrider community to be able to do what we do there. We've done September 16 there for the vets. Last year we did the Cinco de Mayo there. While the city of San Bernardino did theirs on Court Street, we did ours over there. And he helps out a lot. It's pretty safe there. I live like a block away from there. We found heroin, syringes in the parks, all over the place in the city. Right across the street from my house, there's a parking lot. It's called Meatless Cafe. Last year in December, a little kid got stuck with a needle.
Thank you, Mr. Garcia. We appreciate your contributions to the city.
Well, we're trying to get this liquor license for this guy. He deserves it, bro.
And we will.
He's positive. He's trying to help change the city.
And we will take that into consideration.
Instead of crying about it, you know what I mean?
We will give it an honest, accurate assessment, sir.
Thank you, boss.
Thank you, Mr. Garcia. Next speaker, Mayra. Please say your name and address for the taped record. Thank you for coming.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Mayra Frias, and I live in the neighborhood. It's 1318 West 6th Street in San Bernardino. And I'm here to support the business. I know that some of the disagreements are because of crime and because of other additional licenses that are already in the area. But the reason why I support Rick are several reasons, but one of them is that Rick has helped create businesses or create jobs in the area. With his success, he's given jobs to the people in the neighborhood, even people who are homeless, right? And so I think that if we support small businesses in our area, it would help increase our income and it will help our community grow, right? Regarding the crime issue, I think that the crime issue is definitely the issue with drug addiction, with homelessness, unemployment, not necessarily the issue of the liquor license. He already sells beer in the store, and that hasn't been an issue that we've seen in the area. So I don't think changing the license would definitely create a problem in our area. Another issue, I know that we said the church, right? There was an issue with the church, and I've gone to different churches, especially Our Lady of Guadalupe, and there's entertainment. Sometimes there's events where they sell alcohol. So I don't necessarily think that the alcohol issue will create the crime, since we already have other events where they do already sell alcohol. So I think that if we help support small businesses, it would improve our city and it will help create jobs. And for that reason, I support him. And also, Rick has a great character of being able to give to the community and willing to help the community. And I think we should consider that as well. Okay, and I think that's it. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Myra. Appreciate it. Our next speaker is Fernando Castro. Good evening, sir. Can you please state your name and address for the taped record?
Fernando Castro, 1338 West Fifth Street, San Bernardino, 92411. Hi. Rick and I are the applicants. For one thing is, we are providing a lot of work. I own the Michoacana Paleterias, which is an ice cream parlors, and I've opened already 4 in the vicinity. And Rick and I are general partners in Michoacana. We do provide a lot of work. Some of the, I spoke to Sylvia concerning Dinah. She said Sylvia is the police department. And she said, Fernando, I have no problem with you guys over there. I'm just giving surrounding what's going on around the community. But she had nothing to face the fact that we have any problems with our store. The picture that they showed you did not show the big market where we have Carne City, where we hired 2 more people. It doesn't show the food where we're making food burritos and everything. We have a full kitchen, and it's a market of 3,200 square foot. We have next in line to extend 1,200 square feet by the end of November when the lease is over, and we plan on submitting an application to extend it bigger. We do have an ice cream parlor next to the Bueno Market. He also is the owner of Best Market, which is down the block, and that is another place I put another Michoacana. So I'm putting it where I think it's safe for my community, for the community, and for the tenants, the people that I like. I like to make sure that we provide a safe environment for the ice cream parlors, because our ice cream parlors attracts a lot of family members. One of the things that I did see where it says over-concentrated of beer and wine, they're only all type 20s. They're little small mini marts, May I approach? So I did my little work there with the beer and wine. I talked to Sadie. She told me they're mostly all little teeny mini marks that sell beer and wine. We're not going to be making a big deal of selling a lot of liquor. It's just a service for the community. We are in a safer environment. If you look at the liquor license, which is down the block on 5th Street East, it's a really bad area. And then if you look at the next liquor store, which is north on Mount Vernon, it's full of what do you call them, marijuana dispensary. Thousands of people don't want to go around that area. So they come to our market where it's safe, right next to A&P Market, and we provide a good service to everybody. And we do cater to safety. We do have on guard, just in case. I told Sylvia if she can give me a report of how much crime we have, had at that store. We've only had one. Well, we called the police department because there was a guy that was a little bit offhand. But other than that, we are providing a safe atmosphere. We have clean market. It's a market. It's not going to be considered a liquor store. It's a grocery store market providing liquor. That's all. It's nothing of a big deal that we're going to make it into a liquor store. We provide to the community. It's a market which provides food, meat, and groceries. And we don't see it as being a big problem. We actually, It'll benefit. We want to hire 2 more people if this happens, because we're going to expand. So therefore, I'm just telling you know that it's not over concentrate with liquor license. It's beer and wine, and the other ones are nightclubs, which has nothing to do with the market. And we close at a decent hour, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. I talked to Shady. She said she's all for it, that she will put some recommendation that we close at 10 for the first year to make sure that no problems occur. And again, we're here to say, okay, if you do allow us to provide the service, probation will be fine for us. We feel confident that we're going to do a good job, and you know that we're not going to have any problems. We haven't had no problems. We have security. We have a clean atmosphere. Rick and I really talk to the people. We actually hired a homeless guy. We told him instead of just being out there, come over and start mopping, cleaning. So he's on board now. He's on board. We accepted him. We told him, you know, you make sure we don't catch you doing anything bad, or we might give you permanent work. So we actually hired him permanently. And one guy we let him go. We hired him permanently, but not all of them are going to be okay. But at least we give them an opportunity to say, hey, and you don't have homeless people standing in our store. We don't allow that. We have a lot of. I was really happy to see some of the people supporting us. I was shocked that they came, but we do provide a lot of good service to people, and we're good people. We don't want bad things. And our ice cream parlors, I'm going to grow more. I have 6 more that are going to open in San Bernardino, and so we feel we're doing good, and so we would like the opportunity to provide a better location for people to purchase their alcohol. We do have beer and wine. They buy a lot of beer from us and meat and everything, but providing a little bit of liquor, it's not going to change anything drastic. It's just going to help us help the community where they can go purchase their alcohol in a safer environment. You have anything to say, Rick?
Thank you.
He's shy.
I'm shy. I never see him.
All right. Does the
he just
commission?
said, yeah, no.
No problem. Well, I appreciate the contributions both of you have made to the city. And like I said, we'll give you an honest, accurate assessment. Does the commission have any questions for the applicant or staff?
Yes, through the chair, you must be Rick?
Yes, sir.
Which one of you are Rick? Okay, well, you've got a lot of good people out here saying a lot of good things about you. So I'm glad to hear you're running a good business in our community, and put my Chamber of Commerce hat on, and that's the kind of business that we're looking for. You mentioned earlier, what time do you close your business right now?
10 o'clock, sir.
10 o'clock? As you heard in the previous meeting, our city is really concerned about a lot of the alcohol sales and things of that nature, and some of the entertainment. Obviously, you don't have entertainment in the store, but if you do get a license to sell the alcohol, you said you may be able to stay open later?
I'm not trying, sir, but if my community want me to, I will ask permission for it, you know.
The Department of Alcohol has granted us, they had put us on probation. We bought this business a couple of years ago, several years ago. It was really a bad area, and we made the business successful. And we're on probation with the Department of Alcohol. They told us we're clean enough to extend our hours if we wanted to, but 10 o'clock is suitable for us, you know, so we don't try to stay too late. We stay there till about 12 anyways, cleaning up and put all the meat and the food away and everything, so.
So you'd be willing to accept a condition of the approval that you'd close the business at 10 o'clock?
Yes, and yes, we would love that, and show that we're going to do a good job, and maybe in the future we can, if it's working out for both of us, we can approach you for extended hours. But it'd be great, yes.
Does the commission have any other questions? Commissioner?
Yes, through the chair. I pass by your place of business daily, several times a day. And my concern is you have a lot of signage along your windows, which exceeds the 25%, as well as a lot of debris on the backside facing Harrington, just off of 5th Street. So on the backside, I see a lot of debris, whether it's cardboards or anything like that. So that would be just my concern of cleaning up that area.
Definitely.
I will have it done by the weekend.
Thank you. We appreciate
If
that.
that's the problem. I mean, we want the, of course, we want clear. We've been focusing a lot inside. You know, we spent a lot of money on the hood system, fire upgrades, and that costs a lot of money for the fire department to do the upgrades on the hood system for the UL 300 system. That costs almost $6,000. So we focus a lot on the inside. The inside is pretty well. I agree with the sign. I agree it doesn't look presentable, but we'll work on it. We'll fix it up, and we want the best. We want somebody to look presentable. We want to look presentable. We're clean guys. We don't have tattoos. We're not crazy or far. We're nice to the community. It's nice to have the support, and we're there just to. My ice cream parlors. If you come to my ice cream parlors, you'll love them. They're nice and clean and beautiful, and I have two huge ones, almost 5,000 square foot, with TVs and for kids, and so you know we're there to provide whatever we can do to make the community better. I believe we're doing a great job. I congratulate. We always high five each other, you know. But
Commissioner, did you have a question?
Yes, actually, initially when reading the report and everything, it's always up in the air with the police and everything. They're kind of like, well, you know, we don't say no and we don't say yes. So it's kind of left to us. Again, going kind of with what the city council wants and the mayor and everything, kind of the view for the city, it's kind of saying basically a no. However, hearing from the community and hearing you want to expand and knowing that you guys are a smaller business that's trying to help the community, it does really put things kind of more in perspective, and understanding that you guys are going to close it at an earlier hour and that you guys are open to probation kind of, you know, with this ABC license. I'm more pro to support that with, you know, the condition of maybe having that probation at that, see how it goes, make sure it doesn't, you know, affect negatively the community. So if you guys are open to that.
We want to prove to you that it's going to be successful.
Okay.
And that's the main concern, that
Yeah.
I want to get more involved with the community. This is not the last time you're going to hear from me. There'll be more times where I want to do something, whatever we can do to improve San Bernardino, because we do have
Definitely.
it.
Commissioner Wilbert?
Yeah, I've heard, like, everybody's for it and all the great stuff you've been doing. I don't see the correlation between selling out liquor and the success you already have. The correlation of selling liquor, I can't find a correlation.
I knew there were, I was waiting for somebody to say it. Well, it's basically, this came about because of the community. See, you know, I hate going to that store over there. They robbed me over there. I hate going away with, why don't you provide liquor? And then we said to ourselves, people keep saying, hey, do you have any liquor? Do you have any liquor? We say no, and we said, okay, you know what? Let's invest a little bit of money and see if this will work for us and if it will benefit us. And after we did our planning and our consideration, we realized that, hey, you know what? Providing liquor will give us a little bit more income, provide us a little bit more income till we can expand, and at the same time give surrounding neighbors to come into a safer environment. Because like I said, if you go further down to the locations, you wouldn't want to go there late at night. Ours is right next to APM Market, plenty of lighting, clean, safe environment. It is a grocery store market providing liquor, not a liquor store where you get hoodlum just coming in for zigzags or something like that, you know. So we have a location where it's providing a safe environment to purchase your liquor.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Does the commission have any further questions for the applicant or staff at this time? I have a question. Did the police findings for the assessment for this license, did they have a record of how many service calls were rendered to this address?
Actually, there were. I was looking at the report that they provided us. For the first 2 weeks in February, when they were conducting their evaluation, there was a total of 16. And it's in your packet. Some of them were just a service call, if you will, but I didn't see any that were of high violence, you know, if you will. There was a lot of trespassing, loitering, of that nature, but there were a total of 16.
16 specifically to this business this year?
That calls to that business, that location, and that was for the first 2 weeks in February.
Exclusively for the first 2 weeks in February.
That's
so
correct.
14 days, so 16 calls, so we can say that the police was out to this business once every day. Would that be a fair assessment to say? Or multiple times a day
Yes.
within a 2 week period?
Yes.
That's impossible. I have a Michoacana there, and I'm working every day. And I would,
Actually, sir, can I speak? There's a girl named Becky. I think police department know her very well. And there's another businesses next to us. She goes to the ice cream parlor we have, and she sometimes don't have clothes on in front of kids. So every time she goes, we call the cops because she's a woman and we can't touch her, to move. So we call the cops, even security, they pepper sprayed her. We try everything. So at that month, she was out of her mind, or she was on drugs or something. So we have to call the cops to come take care of her. Probably that's the week.
but she's no longer around, so you don't have that
Yeah.
many calls no more.
It was only for that one.
And also to the staff, I saw where you guys were talking about the 219 reporting districts that the police department uses to determine which licenses would be favorable for a community or the certain subject property. And the threshold is 91 crimes, and I believe this specific district in question where the license is being applied for had 139, which was a 53% increase, if I'm correct.
That is correct.
Do you have an exact number of how many of those reported crimes were alcohol related?
If you give me one moment, please.
I can also say while he's researching, like when I said, like I spoke to Sylvia, I wanted to get a good report from her. Before we did planning, and we considered all this because this is a high investment we had to pay for to submit for a CUP. We did review and we did talk to Sylvia, and Sylvia said, Fernanda, based on your crime and everything, you guys are pretty okay. That's why she didn't recommend denying or any report, because she didn't find it being a threat in any sense. So I'd just like you guys keep that consideration.
Thank you, Fernando.
You're welcome, sir.
Does the commission have any further questions for the applicant or staff? Oh, did you guys have that?
There actually was nothing that that indicated that there was one what I would consider a serious, where it says assault with a deadly weapon. So of the 16, that was the others were just alarm burglary, welfare check, theft, trespassing, non-disturbance, violence. There were a handful that were non-disturbance, non-violence, and looks like there's about 4 or 5 that are trespassing.
Right.
But nothing that was specifically alcohol, where they said it was alcohol, drunkenness, or however you want to call it.
Right.
Which
And
we do,
that's
because
what concerns me with a district that is already highly saturated in reporting crimes and crimes reported, and also to throw gasoline on the fire. Your establishment is having police officer services rendered to the business almost every day within a 2-week period. That's also very concerning. So it seems like.
But if you, like I said, that was a 2-week notice. But if you get another report, you won't see there hasn't been it was just that one incident where we just couldn't touch that girl. We would call police. Hey, you got to handle this girl. We can't have her running around naked. It wasn't. Other businesses might be okay, but I have an ice cream parlor right next to our liquor store, so I can't have a naked woman. If I see a naked woman running around, I'm gonna call police. Unless you want me to not call the police, and then that way, we don't have a crime report. But we're not like that, so we're gonna call police. Hey, we got a naked woman running around crazy around here. So unfortunately, we make the calls because it seems like other people that are around there, they probably think it's funny, but it's not funny to my clients or my customers when we have an ice cream parlor and have a woman running around naked. That's something we can. I'm opening another parlor on Mount Vernon at 1554 North Mount Vernon, right in front of the police department. I'm opening that parlor only because, like, the higher performance says, Fernando, clean up this neighborhood. We'll help you. So I said, okay, we're gonna put a Michoacana there too. I have one on 3 on Mount Vernon, but like I said, that's a bad area. I wouldn't even want to discuss what's going on in the area, but I'm doing it because I said, okay, I'll clean it up with the police department, higher patrolman coming over after the ice cream. We'll start cleaning up the environment little by little. But if that was only a 2-week, well, we were calling this lady now in state patent.
Right. No, I understand.
Yes.
And when they're only going based upon the time frame from when
Yeah.
the application was submitted. They can't constantly track the business. If they
Correct.
see trends or something that's going on, then they're definitely going to report it. And it seems, well, at least the way I'm interpreting it, as more of an internal business issue. It seems there you could have increased security or something like that. The San Bernardino Police Department can't render law enforcement services under the guise of basic security for our community businesses, especially if it's a recurring problem that can be handled internally, which is just why I was asking for clarification on why that was occurring. Does the commission have any further questions for the applicants or the staff at this time? If not, I'll entertain a motion. We'll go ahead and close public comment right now at this time as well. I would like to make a motion to adopt resolution number 18-03, public convenience or necessity letter, 18-07, denying conditional use permit 18-03, and letters 18-07. Do we have a second?
So second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
Aye.
The motion carries with one dissenting. Thank you. Moving on, agenda item number 4, conditional use permit 18-25 and necessity letter 18-08. Can we please have a staff report?
Yes, Commissioners. This item is involving the property located at 1111 West 9th Street. It's within the commercial general zone, and the request is to allow an ABC Type 20, which is beer and off-sale beer and wine, or Type 21, off-sale general, for an existing market known as La Cadena Market. The property itself is general commercial, but is surrounded by single-family residential properties and homes. This is an aerial of the site. As you can see, the commercial property, and again surrounded by the residential neighborhoods. This is looking towards the existing building. This is looking west, down West 9th Street. You can see the store on the left-hand side there. This is looking east on West 9th Street with the store on the right-hand side, again within the residential area. This is an aerial view of just the property. This is a floor plan that has been provided by the applicant, looking to do some improvements. They want to put, when you see the internal pictures that I provided in your staff report, and I'll show right here, you'll see that there's going to be some improvements done to the interior, which will allow for their freezers, display, storage, and those kinds of things. And these are they have the large shelving systems throughout the warehouse here, or excuse me, the store. This shows the existing ABC licenses within the area. And there's a similar use that's within the 1,000-foot radius of the site. Earlier we talked about sensitive uses. The properties, it's within a couple hundred feet from the Boys and Girls Club. Also, the Head Start facility is across the street within 200 feet. Encanto Park is probably within about 300 feet. You could see the blue square, if you will, and there's also although not within 500 feet, the elementary school, Mount Vernon Elementary School, is within 800 feet. The playground's within 800 feet. Analyzing the project and the report provided by the police department, again, they have not made a formal recommendation, but provided us with some statistics. The property can accommodate up to 4 business licenses according to ABC. There's a total of 7 ABC licenses within that census tract. The crime statistics for that area are at 226 for the reporting area as opposed to the 91 average for the city. And this translates into a 148% over the allowable, or I should say over what the reporting districts are. And again, there really are a number of sensitive uses, not just the residential properties in the neighborhood that's there, but with the Boys and Girls Club, the Head Start Park, and the school within that area. Again, we believe that the project does not meet the city's goals and objectives for reducing crime or ensuring safe neighborhoods. With that, our recommendation is that the Planning Commission adopt Resolution 2019-21, denying conditional use permit 1825 and public convenience or necessity letter 18-08 based on the findings that we provided in this attached resolution. The applicant is here. Would also say that in their package, they did provide us, along with their justification letter, a handful, I'll call it, of signatures of their customers in support of the project, or the application, I should say. And the applicant is also prepared to make a brief presentation to you, and along with the booklet that was provided to you before the meeting. That concludes my presentation. I would be glad to answer any questions if you have any. Thank you.
At this time, we'll go ahead and open up public comments. Are there any speakers wishing to speak on agenda item number 4? I have Melvin Evitt. Good evening, sir. Please state your name and address for the taped record.
My name is Melvin Evitt. My address is 5905 Wincliffe Drive, Arupa Valley. It's nice to be back in the city again. I've been working with the city for several years, and they've been very cooperative. The planning department is very helpful what I need to do. I prepared a brochure for you, and I hope you received that. It was, did you get this folder I prepared? Yes, that's the one. Now, I'm representing the client. I've been doing real estate business for many, many years. The census tract that is provided by the ABC, that's only a guideline. There's nothing in concrete. You can have 6 or 7 over allowances. That makes no difference to ABC. It's a guideline because there's nothing been proven that this is exactly what you have to have. You can have as many as you want. City of Moreno Valley was allowed 2. I just put number 11 in the same census tract. So it's up to the Planning Commission and City Council to approve or disapprove the license. That's one of the things. Now, this is going to be a full storage, like the Stater Brothers, about half the size of Stater Brothers, 15,000 plus square feet. They're going to have in there not only groceries, they're going to have a bake shop, they're going to have an ice cream parlor, they're going to have hot foods to take out. I'll have it all listed in everything that they're going to have in here. They're going to provide cash checking for customers. They're going to be able to pay the bills at the store. This is a one-shop stopping. They're going to have fresh meats, fresh produce. This is going to be a very nice place to enjoy. Before it was a warehouse and didn't do too much, but they're in the process of cleaning up the area. It's pretty clean now. They don't allow loitering in there to begin with, to start off with. This family has been in grocery businesses for more than 20 years and no ABC violations in all of these years they've had. I gave you pictures of a couple of the stores that they have now in the city of Fontana. You can see how they're fully furnished, and this is the way the store is going to be looking. They have items that you need for groceries, household items. This is going to be a one-stop shopping, and by adding the beer as a convenience for shopping, and this is what a convenient is when they're doing all the shopping for the meats and the produce and the groceries, everything that they need in one stop. And they're not asking to sell 12 or 16-ounce cans or 20-ounce cans. They want only prepackaged items that come from the manufacturer. And on this, I noticed on this conditions that they put down, they say it can be sold only in 4-packs. Well, some of these beer companies have now provided a 20 or 24 ounce 3-package can, not 4. So I'd like to have that modified if you approve this, so that it is all prepackaged items and they won't be selling any singles in beer and wine other than anything much larger than a 24 ounce. And the wines, they'll come in 4-packs with little small packages of 4 small bottles, or if they allow, you have the 750 or larger for champagnes or some nice wines. And this is what we're asking for. As you can see, I provided you a legal documents from ABC showing from a legal counsel as far as the allowing for the number of licenses in an area. And so if you have any questions, I would like to be able to ask any questions for you. And I did provide you with the pictures. In other words, there are 6 licenses. I gave you a copy of each of the 6 licenses that are licensed in the census tract, not 7, 6. And I provided that and show you what kind of stores they are. They're very small operations. They don't have meat. They don't have produce. They have beer and wine. They have 99-cent items. So each of these items would not meet what we have coming into this location. And all we're asking is for your approval to be able to sell prepackaged beer items to the customers who do their daily shopping. Thank you.
Thank you. Does the commission have any questions for the applicant or staff at this current time? If not, I'll entertain a motion. Let's close public comment. I hereby close public comment. Thank you, sir, for your contributions. And I will entertain a motion. All right, I would like to make a motion denying conditional use permit 18-25, public convenience or necessity letter 18-08, based on the findings of fact. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed?
Aye.
The motion carries. One dissenting. Thank you.
You're denying the request, correct?
Yes, sir.
And then we can appeal to the city council.
Yes, just follow up with the staff, and they'll give you all the procedures to apply for that, sir.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Moving on, agenda item number 5. Conditional use permit 18-28. Let's go ahead and get the staff report for this.
Sorry about that. The request is to remove several modular buildings that are currently existing on the site. They're set a little bit further back on the site, and access to them would be a little bit difficult for the fire department to get to. I'll show you some photos in a moment, but access in between the buildings is only about 10 feet wide. Sorry, technical difficulties. So the request is to remove those buildings in order to allow an expansion of the existing church building, not to expand the sanctuary area, but to expand the podium area, to add some additional office space, and to expand another building on the site that was formerly a residential property, and to add like a break room, a cafe, and some meeting spaces in that location. So the property is located on Mill Street, east of Arrowhead Avenue, east of the National Orange Show property. And it's located within the commercial heavy zone, which does allow for religious facilities with the subject to approval of a conditional use permit. And because of the expansion, that's why we were asking for the conditional use permit. As previously stated, the expansion is to add some space to the existing church building, also to add some break rooms, meeting rooms, and the improvements will actually increase the fire safety on the site, the on-site circulation. There will be additional parking, on-site parking, which was always a little bit of a problem at this property because of the way that the buildings at the back of the property were just didn't allow for very good circulation or enough parking. They're also adding a refuse container to the site. So just doing some general cleanup, a little bit of expansion of the existing buildings, and removing some older modular buildings. So this is the existing site. As you can see, there's one entrance to the left of the existing church building. Again, that's only about 10 feet wide. And then it's a little bit difficult to see from this view, but in between the two buildings is also only about a 10-foot wide drive aisle. They will be adding a fire hydrant up at the front of the property for increased fire safety. And that way the fire department can pull up into the driveway, they can hook up to the fire hydrant, and they can service all of the buildings on the site adequately. This is the proposed layout. So you can see at the back of the property will now just be parking and their refuse container. And then these buildings at the front of the property will be expanded to service the needs of the existing religious facility. Some additional parking up at the front as well, and a fire hydrant right at the front there. It's just the floor plan showing how the space will be. This is the addition. So you can see their podium area will be expanded. There will be some additional meeting rooms and restrooms. And then on the adjacent building, a little cafe break area and some additional meeting rooms. And a little freshen up to the facade as well. Okay. I'm happy to say that the staff's recommendation for this item is to adopt Resolution 2019-022, finding the approval of conditional use permit 18-28 to be categorically exempt under CEQA pursuant to Section 15332 for infill development projects, and approving conditional use permit 18-28 based on the findings of fact and subject to the recommended conditions of approval.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Wow, first one tonight. Wow.
Lucky me.
Right. This is good. Okay. Let's open up public comment. Is there anyone wishing to speak on this agenda item from the public at this time? I don't see any speakers. Does the commission have any questions for staff at this time? Commissioner Wilbert.
Excuse me. You mentioned the fire hydrant out front. Is this building or buildings, are they going to be sprinkled? Fire sprinklered?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, okay. I didn't
Yeah.
hear that, and I was just
Yes.
going to, how could that be? That's good.
But because there's, the fire department requires both sprinklers and the ability to access with their fire hoses. So that's why the fire hydrant is being added to the site as well.
Gotcha. Good. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner?
Yes, through the chair. Now, I noticed there were some parking issues. So, excuse me. Right now, how would they address any parking issues if their congregation was to increase?
Does the staff have an answer for that, or is the applicant here to answer?
I can answer partially, but I'll have the applicant come up to the podium as well.
Okay.
So currently, they have about one additional parking for what they need based on the size of their sanctuary area. If they were to expand any more than that, then we could consider a reciprocal parking agreement with one of the neighboring properties.
And then how would any special events, if they have any church festivals, anything like that? Parking issues as well.
Devlin Whitfield, deacon at Greater Victory Church of God in Christ. Been there for over 30 years. There's a school right next to our property on Mill Street, and we have an agreement with them when we have events on the weekend or we have special events, they allow us to use some parking there. So that would help to mitigate the parking situation. Plus, as you can see in the drawing, we're adding a lot of parking spaces in the rear of the property, and also even some parking spaces up front of the property too.
Okay, and then also in that area, with the new parking area,
Yes.
like spaces 29, you have a site where they can turn in, but what happens if stalls, the new stalls, 26, 27, 28, and 29 are full? How are they going to get out of the property?
Okay, actually, I think those are going to be at an angle, like maybe at a 45-degree angle, so you can angle into the parking stall, and then you can back out.
I'd like to respond to that. Actually, the driveway right at that section before you get to where the junction of where the two buildings are directly adjacent to each other is actually pretty wide, and it's greater than the length of the required parking stall, which means that somebody would be able to back pretty much all the way out and then make the turn out. Okay.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions for the applicant or staff at this time? Commissioner?
You can't really see from the drawings, and I can't really describe too much. What is the landscaping that you guys are adding around this new facility?
Okay, I'll let...
Yeah. There's some landscaping along the side of the building here and right up in the front. There's, I believe, a little bit of landscaping at the back, or will be next to the parking stalls as well. Yeah. Martha is the architect on the project.
Just asking if there's going to be additional lighting and everything. Just again, like if you guys have events in the evening, make sure that
Have you been sworn in,
everyone's-
ma'am?
Hi, hello. My name is Martha Schacht, and thank you for to attend this project, and thank you for to be approval. Okay, the landscaping, it's only in their left side area, and we are covering enough area to cover the parking with concrete parking. So the analysis going good.
Okay.
And we have in the front where is the parking lot, and that's it. But it's covering the necessities for the parking lot.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Does the commission have any further questions for the applicant or staff at this time? If not, I will entertain a motion. Well, let's go ahead and close public comment at this time as well.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone like to make a motion?
I would like to make a motion to adopt resolution number 2019-022, approving conditional use permit 18-28 based on the findings, facts, and subject to the recommended conditions of approval, and finding that the project is categorically exempt under the California Environmental Quality Act.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? The motion carries unanimously. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Moving on, agenda item number 6, development permit type P 19-02. Can we please have the staff report?
Yes, good evening, Commissioners. Item number 6 is development permit type P 19-06. The proposed project involves the development and establishment and operation of an industrial warehouse containing approximately 406,000 square feet located on the north side of 6th Street, approximately 1,300 feet east of North Sterling Avenue, and north of the San Bernardino International Airport, approximately 1,500 feet, on 20 acres within the industrial light zone. Here is the location zoning map depicting the applicable zone for the applicable use. This is a zoning map of the city of Highland. The project is abutting the city of Highland, which is mostly residential surrounding it. I have met with the city of Highland, and I am in constant communication with them. We have alleviated their concerns of lighting for the access points, drainage for the property, and sound walls fronting 7th Street and Vine Street, and McKinley access, which I will show in a few slides down the road. This is the aerial map depicting the project off of 6th Street, some of the residential properties in Highland. This is looking north towards the city of Highland. This is looking north towards the site. This would be one of the 2 access points for operation. This is looking northeast towards the site, and this would be another access point for the operation where these are the only 2 access points for the operation. This is looking south towards the site, looking west, east from Vine Street, looking at the city of Highland, east from 7th Street, looking at the city of Highland. Both of these streets are going to be for fire department access only, and we have a conceptual of the way the buildings will look. We have the site plan, which the setbacks are 89 feet in the front, 65 feet on the sides, and 190 feet from the rear, with, of course, only 2 main access points for the operations coming in off of 6th Street. Here's a picture of the elevations. Height of the overall structure is going to be 45 feet of the 50 allowed for the zone. The architectural design is highlighted by varied paint schemes and roof lines and articulated facade surfaces. Here is another picture of the elevations, and I would like to say that this project was previously analyzed and approved under GPA 14-09, DCA 14-18, and DPD 16-25 with an adopted M&D for the project. However, site plan reconfiguration was needed for aesthetical and circulation purposes, resulting in more than 10% change, which required us to come back for approval. Here is the 2, how do I work the little clicky thing? Well, on the left is the original site plan for the warehouse, and on the right side, we have the reconfiguration of the plan, which included the relocation of the loading docks from 6th Street frontage to the 7th Street and Vine Street frontage for the circulation and aesthetical purposes. The loading docks were set back approximately 54 feet from the property line, and there would be a 14-foot high interior block wall constructed for noise control and will be landscaped accordingly for screening purposes. McKinley Street, there would be no truck traffic through McKinley Street. It would only be for emergency access only via a Knox box. And in that area where 7th Street and Vine Street for fire access only, there would be illumination and defensive landscaping put in place, which would be keep the property up to standards at all access points. So our analysis is consistent with the city's general plan and complies with the development code, provides economic opportunities within the city. It has been designed with consideration for the adjacent residential neighborhoods. There would be no significant environmental impacts beyond those previously analyzed in the previous mitigated negative declaration. And of course, the City of Highland Community Development Department has reviewed and supports the project. So our staff recommendation today is that Planning Commission adopt Resolution 2019-024, affirming the previously adopted mitigated negative declaration pursuant to Section 15164 of the California Environmental Quality Act, and approving development permit type P 1902 based on the findings of fact and subject to the recommended conditions of approval. Open to take questions, and the applicant is here to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Let's go ahead and open public comment as well. Are there any members of the public or the applicant wishing to speak? And does the commission have any further questions for staff at this time? Commissioner Wilbert.
What kind of business is going to be operated here?
There is no speculative tenant at the time, but it is going to be designed as a high-cube warehouse facility, which would offer jobs to the airport facilities and the surrounding warehouses and community members of Highland as well.
So it's possible that big rigs could be coming in and out of there 24 hours a day.
The applicants here, they can answer some of those technical questions for you if you like.
Can the applicant please approach? Have you been sworn in?
My name is Brian Berry, and do you need my address as well?
Yes.
My address is 1246 Oakmead Lane in Laverne, California, 91750. Honorable Chairman and Planning Commissioners, thank you for taking your time. The staff has been great, Oliver, Chantal, and Mike, in helping us, and it has been a pleasure to work with them. And to answer your question, it is possible that there will be trucks operating 24/7, as it can be possible for an Amazon-type business, tech business, with the transformation that's happened on the north side of the airport with, the airport project. We're looking to continue that and bring those prospective tenants into our facility, whether, a tenant as DHL, FedEx. We're looking at those prospective tenants for our project, yes.
So if I got it right, this property is surrounded by the city of Highland?
Correct.
Has the city of Highland, do they have any input on this?
I'd like to answer that. Yes, sir, they did have some input. We did alleviate their concerns. I've been in constant communication with them. The only concerns they did have were lighting for the access points at McKinley, 7th Street, and Vine Street, drainage for the property, and the sound wall that we are implicating and applying into the landscaping. And also, all the traffic was analyzed previously during the mitigated negative declaration, and it's all been mitigated.
And any studies on environmental conditions with your big rig diesels coming in 24/7?
Yes, there has been a full study, and it's all been analyzed in the previous mitigated negative declaration, which was approved and adopted previously.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Through the chair, one additional question. The original approval with this was a couple of years ago, wasn't it?
Yes, that's correct.
With this new proposed plan, has that been taken back to the city of Highland?
Yes, I have been in constant communication with Highland. They have reviewed the new plans, and in fact, I just met with them this morning to confirm that they were on board.
Okay, no additional conditions? Or
no additional conditions outstanding.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The streets being used to access the facility is in San Bernardino, correct?
Yes,
Or
that's
is
correct.
it? Yes, okay. Then again, with all the trucks, as he was mentioning before, that is there any improvements that we could, have as a condition like that of kind of keeping the streets, for the residents in the area? There seem to be homes close
Yes,
by.
we will condition McKinley Street, 7th Street, and Vine Street. They will only be for emergency access and fire department access, so there will be no truck traffic down those streets. The frontage of 6th Street will be accommodated and brought up to standards, curb and gutter, and all the applicable design standards needed to be.
Back to what you're kind of saying. All right, 6th Street, is that a heavily truck route as it is?
Yes, it is.
It is heavy, it is? Has there been any thoughts of, because it's going to be increased to street improvements?
Thoughts in whether they are going to improve the frontage along their property.
Is that strictly curb and gutter?
Curb, gutter, sidewalk, and the street to the center line of the street.
Center divider.
Perhaps the applicant can elaborate.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Kent Norton. I'm with SOMAS Environmental Consulting Firm, 1500 Iowa Avenue in Riverside, 92507. We prepared actually, I prepared the original mitigated negative declaration for the previous project, and I worked on the addendum for the mitigated negative declaration for this project. The traffic study, both the previous one and the current one, did look at traffic, including truck distribution on 6th. It is a truck route within the city. As far as I know, there were no special improvement requirements as part of that. The traffic study, both the previous one and the current one, were done to the city standards for traffic studies, and nothing unusual that I'm aware of was identified in terms of necessary road improvements, other than the adjacent improvements to the site.
Thank you. Any other questions from the commission for the applicant or staff at this time? I see no questions, so we're going to go ahead and close public comment. Thank you. And I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that the Planning Commission adopt resolution number 2019-024, adopting the addendum to the mitigated negative declaration and approving development permit type P 19-02, based on the findings and facts and subject to the recommendation of the conditions of approval.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carries unanimously. Congratulations. Moving on, agenda item number 7, extension of time 19-02 and amendment to the conditions 19-02. We'll go ahead and open discussion for this item now. Can we please have the staff report?
Yes, Commissioners. The request before you, the extension of time, this will be the 6th requested extension. The municipal code and state law allows for up to 6 extensions, so this would be the 6th one. We're also adding, and as you've seen in some of our other extensions, some of our maps, amendment to conditions. As you know, we're transitioning from landscape maintenance districts to community facilities districts. So the property was approved for 48 single-family residences and 2 open space lots. The property is located on the north side of Verdamont Drive, west of Magnolia, and it's located within the residential low zone. Again, the zoning map, again, is surrounded by the residential low zoning designation, predominantly vacant surrounding it. This is the subdivision as approved. When we looked at the open space lots that are going to be that are part of the maintenance district, we're looking at this. There's a buffer area here that needs to be improved. There's also a small area here that needs to be improved as well, improved and maintained for access and such. So those are the 2 areas that are affected. If you recall in the staff report, it makes reference to lots A and B, and that's the location of those. In the again, the conditions only apply to 2 in the staff report. Again, just talking about the maintenance of those areas. And so with that, we finding that the project was exempt based on the previous approval of it, and that we're recommending the extension of time be granted, and that the conditions be amended for the map based on the findings and the recommendations of conditions for you. Thank you. I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Thank you. At this time, we'll open up public comment as well. I have a speaker slip from a Chris Courtney. Good evening, sir. Can you please state your name and address for the taped record?
Good evening. Chris Courtney, 310 Commerce, Irvine, California. Oh, I don't need that. I represent Beezer Homes, and we're obviously the applicant asking for the extension of time. We are working with the city and water district to try and come up with some solutions in the area, and our entitlements are set to expire soon, so obviously we're wanting to extend those as we continue to try and work with the city and water district to come up with some solutions to make the project more buildable, as well as some of the developers in the area. So with that, though, I'm here if you guys have any questions about the project or regarding this extension in particular.
So if approved, how soon are you guys planning to develop, or is this something that you guys are going to pass off to another developer to build on, or are you guys going to be doing this in-house?
This would be in-house. We don't have any plans to try and sell off the property or anything like that. It's our plan to try and build it. We are actually currently building across the street, as some of you may already know, and so sales haven't been the best in the area. They have been a little slow, but we are building across the street, and it is our plan to develop the property. Obviously, we need to try and come up to some agreements with both city and water district to make the project more viable for us to be able to move forward. But it is our intent to move forward with the project.
Excellent. And if approved, do you have a tentative time frame as to when you guys might break ground on this project?
Well, it'd have to be before April next year.
Definitely. Does the commission have any other further questions for the applicant or staff? So we're basically, this is being modified as well because of the CFDs that need to be changed from the
LMDs.
landscape maintenance districts, right?
That is correct.
Okay. Excellent. All right.
So I've noticed that you guys have gotten several extensions, and that this project has been in motion since 2005. So it's been 14 years.
Yeah, but like 7 of those years were a bad economical time for the home building industry in general.
No, I understand.
And so it was a really tough time. And as the economy has progressed and home building has gotten stronger, we've been working on projects all over Southern California. And like I mentioned, we are currently selling right across the street from this project, and we don't want to compete against ourselves. You know, in the area, and so it's timing. You know, it's obviously it is a lengthy amount of time, but unfortunately, it's just the way it's gone as far as with the economy and everything else. And so, but we are progressing forward with multiple projects that have been approved since 2005. This is not the first one in this situation for us or for any builder, but we're hoping to move forward with the project soon. And timing-wise, you know, I can't say for sure when, but we're hoping to move forward at least by the end of the year. But we do need some relief from the water district regarding all of the water improvements that are needed to get up into the area. So hopefully we can have some progressive discussions with the city and the water district in the coming months towards that effort as well.
Right. It's just that I noticed that there was 4 extensions done by the state, and I understand during the economy and such like that. But yeah, this being the 6th already, it was kind of like, is anything happening? Yeah. We don't want just, you know, areas that are just vacant and, you know.
Well, and as I mentioned, you know, with us building across the street, if we were to say start building today, we're going to end up competing against ourselves in an area that's already hard to get sales. So that's something that, you know, we have to be very cautious of as a company, not to create our own problems. And so it is a timing issue. It's something that routinely happens in this industry, that we stage our projects, and when we have multiple properties in an area, we'll build one property first, and then as that one nears closeout, then we'll start developing the other property to transition right into it. So we're not competing against ourselves, but we're extending our own sales life in the area. Okay. And so this extension of time will allow us to flow into our next phase.
Thank you. Commissioner Wilbur.
How long in this 6 extensions, how long have you been dealing to resolve the water department's, whatever they may be, problems with the property? How long have you been working on this?
Well, Beazer and several other developers have been working with the city and water district for several years towards a solution. Within the last year, there's been some movement with the water district in terms of conceding certain improvements and that would be required of the development community, and they would take on certain responsibilities themselves. So there has been some movement and some traction within the last year from the water district towards that effort. It needs to go a little bit further, but we're hoping to have some resolution soon.
Do you consider this a stumbling block in the process to get this resolved, or to get it underway?
It absolutely is, because, we're not here to lose money. We obviously are here to try and make money, and the cost of the improvements for that area make it so that if we have to, it's the first developer loses, basically. And so us being probably one of two developers with this time constraint, if we were to build those improvements first, we would never get our money back. We would never make enough money to make it worthwhile. It's really critical for us to get the water district and the city to the table to resolve this, to make it a feasible project for everybody. But the water improvements that are required for that area are substantial. And for 48 units, it makes it a very heavy burden for any one developer to take on by themselves. There have been several meetings with the multiple developers in the area that haven't progressed to a point of having a conclusive effort or decision on ultimate direction and responsibilities. But I think that through those meetings and through ongoing discussions with the City and Water District, that we can find a solution that would be viable for everybody involved to allow us to move forward, and the Water District getting the improvements that they are looking for.
Perfect.
Without going into the nitty-gritty of the water improvements, I'm trying to put it in a way where, is the city holding you back via the water department from developing this, as well as the economics? Is that, am I putting you on the spot that way?
If I may interject here, so as was indicated, it's been several years that the water department, I mean, I've been here 4 years, and they meet almost, they were meeting quarterly, but now they're meeting almost monthly, the water department, and there's a handful of applicants that are up in the Vermont area in this vicinity that have these maps that you've been seeing, come for extension of times. The water department has had a web engineering has prepared an estimate of the improvements. They're in the process of calculating what those improvements are going to cost. I think there is a preliminary engineer's estimate, and what they've been working with the various landowners or developers up there is kind of a pro rata share of how much this would cost, and they're basically per lot fee. And so, as been indicated, they're working out those details of that agreement of how much everyone would like to or would agree to pay. The water department has also committed a certain percentage. I don't remember what that amount is, but it's a big number, a lot of zeros and commas, in there, and the water department has committed to put together a portion of that infrastructure to get them started. I believe there's 2 or 3 zones, 4 zones, as each zone as you go up in altitude, and so what the goal is that as the water department would contribute towards the front end, and as those projects start building, then it all catches up at the end, and then it's evenly distributed amongst the various developers up there per lot. I don't recall the total number of units. I think it's about 1,700 units in total that are up there, and again, it's been a work in progress. There's a lot of attorneys and a lot of different representatives, and each landowner and developer, they come from different circumstances, and so they're trying to work that out. And so I don't know how close or far they are from that process. In that conversation was also the CFDs on how to kind of trying to find a mechanism to lower costs but maintain city services and those kinds of things. And so that was kind of part of the genesis of the CFD process, because of what's going up in the Vermont area for the infrastructure primarily, and maintaining it. I don't know if that answers your question, but I just wanted to provide a little bit of input of what's been going on out there. We're all anxious to see development go up. There's kind of a window of opportunity for home sales up there and for construction to start, and so we're trying to resolve that water issue up there so that people can move forward.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Does the commission have any further questions for the applicant at this time, or staff? All right. I see no further questions. I'm going to go ahead and close public comments for agenda item number 7. I'd like to make a motion approving agenda item number 7 as stated with the staff recommendations. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion. We have a second from Commissioner Wilbert. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
Aye. Yeah.
You're a supporter or opposed?
Opposed.
Opposed? Okay. The motion carries with Commissioner Sanchez dissenting. All right. Thank you. Moving forward, Planning Commission reports and announcements. Does the Commission have any announcements they would like to make? All right. I have a few I saw here. April 20th, we're going to be having the Easter Family Day Park celebration with the Young Visionaries. That's going to be from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Also, the City of San Bernardino is going to be hosting the Cinco de Mayo celebration Saturday, May 4th at the Court Street Square downtown right here in San Bernardino. It's going to be from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. Also, the San Bernardino Airport Logistics Center is hosting a town hall. The San Bernardino International Airport is helping a developer build a new logistics center, bringing out 1,500 to 4,000 new jobs to the region and adding 26 flights to the local airspace. Unfortunately, the airport authority did not engage with the community members throughout the development process in any meaningful way, and there is concern over the project's environmental impacts and possible issues with that. This is what the flyer is saying. So that's going to be held on Wednesday, April 17th from 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. as well. Moving on to the director's report.
Yes, Commissioners. If I may, I'd like to introduce a member of our team. Michael Huntley joined us a couple of weeks ago. He was auditing the class right now, and so I thought I'd make an introduction.
I was actually evaluating my staff, so to say. So with that, as Oliver said, my name is Michael Huntley. I'm the new Community and Economic Development Director for the city. I'll be overseeing planning, building, housing, and economic development. I'm excited to be here. I have a lot of years in public sector. I've been in public sector for 28 years, worked in 3 cities in the San Gabriel Valley. 14 of those years was as a professional planner. The last 14 years have been as a planning director, community and economic development director, and then I am a U.S. Army veteran also. I really am excited about working for the city. I spent a lot of time driving around this huge city. There's a lot of development opportunities and things for us to do. I do want to mention the City Council has given us direction to move forward with updating the general plan. So we will be putting out a request for a proposal, hiring a consulting firm to work hand in hand with all of us, to be honest with you. So this project will give the Planning Commission a chance to sink your teeth into something big. Most cities' comprehensive general plans are good for about 20 years. Our last one was adopted back in 2004, 2005. Unfortunately, due to a lot of the circumstances that have occurred in the community, the Great Recession, the dissolution of redevelopment, the bankruptcy, so on and so on. This is the right time to actually go back and look at it. It's only been about 15 years since we adopted the last comprehensive general plan, but this is the right time to go back and start looking at future growth and development and really what the community wants to see in the community. And I'm really excited to be here, work with all of you, and participate to kind of hopefully change and turn things around within our community. So I want to thank you.
Thank you. And I also would like to welcome our newest commissioner as well, Commissioner Guerrero.
Thank you.
All right. Well,
Additionally, I have some few items to touch on.
Absolutely.
They have them already. Before the meeting, we passed out a major projects list for March. That way you all have that update. The link for this report is available online on our planning page on the city's website. So we update projects regularly. That way you have an idea of what's going on. They are numbered by ward, so you know what's going on in your respective areas. If you have questions on those projects, the project lead is listed at the end. That way you know who to contact to ask questions. Also, I'd like to ask for our newest members, you weren't initially here when commissions and committees were reorganized, but when they were, we did have a representative come to the meeting and hand out planning commission packets. I wanted to find out from the commissioners who has them and who does not. I know our newest members won't have them, and I can prepare those for you. But for previous members, if you have them, do you know if you do, or you do?
I don't think I have one.
Okay, so I will go ahead and prepare these and bring them to the next meeting. I can go over them briefly with you guys, that way you know what's contained in them, and that way you know how to use them. Okay, thank you.
I had just one quick comment. While approving and kind of, I know this isn't going to overturn anything, however, agenda item number 4, I actually was not denying, but approving, so I was with, yeah.
It's for 1825.
Yes. So I know that doesn't overturn anything, however, I just wanted to put that on the record.
For records, I do have that correct.
Oh.
For the minutes, that you went with it. So the only no I had on that one was Commissioner Quill.
Yes, so that was actually my mistake on that one. I was trying to say, no, I don't agree, but somehow it came out with an agree.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
I haven't passed 4-1, and it'll pass 3-2.
Yeah, so it doesn't overturn anything, but I just want to clarify that.
Excellent. All right, at this time, I would like to make a motion to adjourn until May 14th. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carries unanimously. See you all next month.